Oh, hi. How you seem to have caught me being a big, strong, stinky grease boy who likes to work in, on, or around cars. Just how coincidental that I happen to be drilling this microphone to fix it when my phone started to accidentally record me. How lucky for you. A little bit of background for you here. This truck looked absolutely disgusting when I got it. The ceiling headliner, the fabric on the ceiling, was replaced with camo duct tape, which most of which had come off and just to show the bare insulation. I mean, this truck is 30 years old, so they just replaced it with camo duct tape. The main color scheme of this truck was brown/beige with a sprinkling of a lot of stains. This started out being a project of me just wanting to clean the seats. I found out that removing them to clean them would be quite a task, so I just like, why don't I just redo the carpet as well that is also stained? And so while I'm doing that, why don't I just like respray the panels? That'll be easy.
Oh, how I was wrong.
You're going to be seeing me at the end of this interior journey. This took me 5 months to do, and 5 months ago I didn't start a YouTube channel, so I wasn't recording it, but I can show you a lot of the things that I did as well as how I did them, because I'm not finished yet, and by the end of this video I will be, so stick around. Sadly, it was not actually just set decorating that made me have all this crap strewn everywhere in my truck. That's actually very accurate to what it is. Yeah, I'll tell you, I'll give you a brief rundown of everything that I have already installed in the truck. For one, as you can see, the carpet, which I need to vacuum once everything is like set, you know. The doors are using the same navy vinyl as the visors. It's basically the same idea as the visors. I just spray adhesive to the carpet that was on the door, and then I just stuck it on there. I also resprayed all the vents and all the black pieces there. I had to take that off and do it on its own because it's a separate piece. The handle itself, actually I ordered online because making it myself is not impossible, but it's a pain. So it was relatively cheap to buy it as well. And then I resprayed it and clear coated it and all that jazz. Also, the material that's up here is the same as the headliner, but of course you don't want it to just be regular cotton cloth, so I turned it into a bit of a vinyl material so it could be wiped off easily. So, let's see how we did that. Let's say that you have found a really cool fabric that you like, but it's just, you know, not strong enough, or you don't want it to get stained, and you know you're going to get a lot of finger traffic on it. You got to turn it into a vinyl. So first step is attaching it to whatever surface you're wanting to apply the vinyl to. In my case, it is a really cool cardboard box. You're going to want to use a spray adhesive that's going to be good for whatever environment your vinyl is going to be sitting in. So mine's going to be in a truck, so I want it to be temperature resistant because it's going to get really hot and really cold. Be sure to spray both surfaces. Also be very, very careful when you're applying it because it is very, very easy to wrinkle. Next step is to spray it with a high gloss clear coat. Of course, if you're going to be putting this on upholstery, you're going to want to be using a flexible clear coat because it is going to be prone to cracking if it bends too much. And for this first coat, you're just going to want to absolutely soak it. Now you're probably thinking, Brody, the surface is going to be all crappy because there's fuzzies everywhere and it'll lead to a crappy surface finish. And you'd be thinking, correct, my sweet summer child. I have a little trick up my sleeve though. Now you're going to want to use this handy dandy little fabric shaver after it's pretty decently dry and just basically clip off all the little nubbins that have formed. And then you're probably thinking, wow, this surface is still pretty rough. and that is because you have to repeat this step probably about 6 or so times. Yeah, it gets pretty repetitive. But the end result is pretty good if you just stick with it. So after you get it to enough coats that you think that the surface is pretty decently alright, you'll notice that there are a couple just kind of rough spots, and you're going to want to sand those down with very carefully with either 400 or 600 grit. And now it is time for your final coat. At the start, I used a high gloss because, I don't know, for me it seems to fill in the gaps a little bit better. But I personally don't really like a high gloss for vinyl, so I'm going to use matte to dull it down. And with that, now you've got a print that you like that is going to protect it from your greasy little goblin fingers caressing it, and now you don't have to worry about staining it with your little greasy little nasty little gnome little goblin. So let's get back to where we were. I redid the headliner in this really cool fabric here. I reupholstered it, and then I basically just fabric glued it to the upholstery, and also had to sew it in the middle and try and match up that seam line there, or pattern rather. I've also done these mirrors here out of EVA foam and a navy vinyl, and resprayed the little thing on there. Used to just be cardboard underneath there, which is gross. Hey, let's put some panels in. I want to do that. I'll let you know how I actually sprayed these here in a little while, whenever I get to the piece that I need to spray. But I want to put some panels in, so let's do that. Each of these panels interlock, so to be able to put in our first panel, we got to put in the seat belts. I did want to re-weld them myself, but because of the rivets that are in it, didn't want to mess it up, so I sent it in to get re-webbed, and they actually sewed in the buckles backwards, which, didn't think a big old company like the leading re-webbing brand would be able to flub that, but hey, what are you gonna do? I mean, they got everything else right, but I mean, it also costs a lot of money, so I expected it to be perfect. Now we're putting in the lap belts. I did sew these myself, but I did a lot of research on how to do it correctly, like getting the right weight of thread and also the right type of stitch. Each of the belts are rated for about 12,000 pounds. Now, I am not 12,000 pounds, but, it's better to be safe than sorry. And damn, are they pretty? Oh, man, I love that color. Once they're all in, we get to put in our first panel. So, yeah, it's kind of like Legos. They've got these little pins on the back of them that align with all the holes in the frame. So, it's pretty easy, but sometimes it's kind of hard to find the hole. And I heard that as I said it, so I just don't want to hear it. Thank you. And with that in, we put in the other side, but we put it in barely so we can just fit in the tabs that are in the next panel. Since these are all like 30-year-old parts, they're all super brittle, so it feels like I'm going to snap them all in half trying to put them back in. Very stressful. This top bit was pretty finicky, and I actually lost the footage of me putting it in correctly, so here's a good bit of me fiddling with it fruitlessly while I realize that I have to take out the side panel to be able to fit it underneath it. Next is the second portion of the back seat. Because I added a little bit of carpet thickness, it was a little bit of a tight fit, so I had to kind of squeeze it in there. And at one point, I put the wrong screw in the wrong place, and it was just small enough to where I couldn't get it out with me fingers, and I had to use a magnet. And all of that sounds terrible out of context, so use a magnet, folks. And like before, we just have to mirror it on the other side. Then we put these little bin things in it, and also we put the armrests on it. And then same thing to the other side. Now it's time to put on the back piece. This back piece was really frustrating to put on, and I actually broke it while I put it on purpose. Like, not out of anger. Well, slightly out of anger, but to be able to put it back in, I broke it. I straight up did. And I'll show you, actually. Yeah, so I'm just glad that it's over. So, it's time to put in the seat belts. This is actually the little demonstration piece for spray painting, like interior pieces on how to do it correctly. So, yeah, let's cut to that right quick. I guess that's where we cut. If you are wanting to respray any interior piece, you absolutely have to sand it. I made the mistake of not doing it, and that crap just flakes right off of it like it's not even attached to it. It also will just kind of look bubbly and gross for some reason, like it's just not attaching to it, which it literally isn't, because if you zoom in real close, it's really actually very sleek because they use metal like molds to do it in, and they're usually pretty polished, so it comes off of it really easy. So you have to sand it with like 600 to 400 grit like before. The reason for that being is you want the spray paint to be able to grip it pretty well, and if you don't, you will regret it. Yeah, so next step is of course masking off all of the pieces so you don't get any excess spray paint on it, because if you get spray paint on seatbelts, oh boy, just about the only option is to literally power wash it off, which I actually had to do after this demonstration of how to spray paint properly. So, lesson learned, never cut corners when you're masking. For this first round of spray paint, you're just literally going to want to dust it, just like, and you're done. And then you're going to wait 5 minutes before your next coat. And this is when you get your color on. Don't overdo it because it will drip, but don't underdo it because it will leave you with a weird texture, like it'll leave it with like dust, kinda. Waiting about 10 to 15 minutes max for it to partially cure, you're gonna then want to actually dust on your clear coat. Now, matte looks great, but is hell to wipe off when you get dust on it. But of course, a high gloss looks wet all the time, but is very easy to clean. So you want to go with a middle ground for interior, which is satin. For pieces like this that aren't going to get bumped and scraped a whole lot, you only need to do one coat. But for stuff like the dash, I did like 3 to 4 coats of clear coat just to make sure that it is going to be protected. And in between coats, you're just waiting 10 to 15 minutes, like 30 minutes max, because you want it to still be curing while you spray paint it. Because if you don't, it will lead to fogging or not even attaching to the coats properly. You're gonna have to like sand your previous coat just to attach it correctly, and yeah, it's a whole bit of nonsense. Like, I've sprayed so many pieces of this interior that I've made a lot of mistakes. I won't shoot you wrong, I promise. Just a fair warning to you if you're wanting to spray paint the rubber portions of your dash. There is a chemical in the rubber that whenever you spray paint it, will leach out and make your spray paint never cure. It will always be tacky no matter how long you wait. You can circumvent this by getting the right primer to bond the spray paint to your piece. If you don't get the exact right one, it still won't work. And in my case, I bought a primer that bonds paint to rubber, and I did a few good thick coats on it to make sure it was covered, and it still gets tacky whenever it gets hot. So, I don't know. Be careful while doing this, because you may mess up the parts in your car. What I did to circumvent this was I had to literally just rough up the coat of spray paint that gets tacky, and then I got my leather vinyl and I attached it to it. Like, I just stuck it on there and I just wrapped it in that leather vinyl. And it works, but it's not exactly what I had planned, and it also took a lot of time to do. So, do it right, and don't waste time like I did. Anyways, let's put this seatbelt in this truck. Let's just install this thing.
Ghost notes at the bottom of this conversation. Drop my keys and phone against the rough pavement. Screens crack, but I still can't hear alright.
This sucks.
String of words that I think I've used before.
Wait, why don't I just... I'm an idiot, guys.
Think of another creative way to
I'm an idiot.
twist it. locked behind your bedroom door.
I don't gotta loop it through there. Okay.
I don't think that I'm never gonna change that. Above, below, can anybody hear me? These streets of snow, they don't work in theory.
Aha! Seatbelt topples. Label your or else you'll lose it. So, this goes here. Ooh, that's about to break off.
Words and I found a new ending. I think I found a creative way to twist it.
Okay, and last step.
Just keep on pretending.
Last step.
The truth seems like the only thing you wanna mess with.
Voila. Sick. So, it's finally time to put in all the dash components. I'm not looking forward to it. I have been procrastinating on doing it this whole time. There is, a lot of electronics that I don't want to mess up. Wish me luck, I guess. I got this fabric cover thing. I think it's going to be a temporary fix for covering up the speakers. I'm going to get a hard plastic one instead. I had this one from before and I just dyed it black. It used to be tan. So. Scared me. Okay. I think that's it. These are my legs. It's gonna look weird, guys, but you're gonna have to deal with it. Okay, yeah. It's time to figure out if all this runs or not, if I've connected everything correctly. To do that, I need to actually reattach my headlights and everything, because I rebuffed them and everything to make them all shiny. So we'll do that real quick. All this stuff that I'm doing right now is pretty temporary. I'm going to be getting a new grill, because I thought about respraying this, but that's, not worth it. There's so much busted up about it that I'm just gonna get it replaced. It's actually pretty cheap. Well, that's gone forever. But yeah, as I was saying, I'm getting a new grill and also doing a lot of exterior stuff, so that'll be in a different video. I'm not gonna do that in this one. All the reflectors are on now, so I'm putting the headlights, I guess. Like everything else in this truck, do it again, twice. And you may wonder why I want to get a new grill. Me oh my, it got dark. I know everything is really dirty. I will clean it off camera because you're watching me. It's making me anxious. I gotta reconnect this battery. So, when you're reconnecting a battery, you always go positive first and then negative. And disconnecting it, you go the reverse order. The more you know. Oh. That was my ring, not something broken. Luckily, it fell on my foot. I found it. Hopefully this is at least a little charged. Oh, oh my. That's connected, that's connected. Can I? Windows are good. On both sides. Turn signals. Working? Working? We're gonna try and start this hoe. See how much gas we got. Oh my god. This makes me happy. I literally thought I was gonna have to charge the battery, but yeah, we're just gonna let this run for a little bit because it's been a hot minute since this truck has ran. I'm going to press the brake and see if I see any reflections. And we got brake lights. Wow. Wowie. Ooh, my brakes. Ah, my headlights also work. Yeah, I have manual headlights. I could literally just turn them off at any time and literally go stealth mode down the street. It's kind of cool and very scary. First drove this truck, I literally didn't know how to turn on my headlights, and someone almost hit me because they didn't see me coming. Yeah. It is getting a little late out here, and it is also very cold. So I'm going to call it a day, and tomorrow we will put the seats in and hopefully be completely done. For now, at least. I'm gonna get some food. It's a fresh morning, a little warmer, and a new day to dress like a grandfather. As you could probably tell, I've vacuumed the carpet so it looks a little bit better. So you know what that means? We're putting in the seats. I have to go into town to get a key tumbler for my ignition because it's being a little bit messed right now. That's what the whole costume change is. But I just wanted to show before I leave. I plan on adopting a dog here in a little while. I don't know how soon, but in a little while. And I got this thing for it to lay on, like in the back seat or in the front seat, wherever I put it. But check this out. Is that not lovely? It fits better in the front seat, but it still weirdly works in the back seat too. It's gonna be so cute having a little small dog, medium-sized dog, kind of like just chilling out, laying, sleeping, going to a park. Gonna cute. I like it.
Don't you be, oh no, alone. You gotta take it in stride. You gotta take it and try. Get it, take it and go.
Disclaimer, I did not sew these myself. I found them online, which was almost impossible to do because for this model of truck, it's almost 30 years old, so it's kind of a specialty item. Also, every single reupholstery site for old trucks like this only have like camo and American flags and the Texas flag, gross, and also like Navajo. I mean, Navajo is cool and everything, but it doesn't really match what I'm going for. And I found one of these, literally the only one that exists on the internet that's this color and everything. I found it, and it was super expensive. It's not a seat cover. This is actually like, you have to tear off the original fabric on this and then stretch this onto the original cushions. So, it was so hard. In the instructions that they gave me, they literally say to set the covers outside in the sun so you can stretch them onto the cushions. It took me literal days to do. It was so hard, but they're done, and I'm excited that I don't have to do them anymore, and all that's left is to install the driver's side seat. So I am excited, and let's just do it so we can get this video over. I never wanted to say. This is a bit of an unprofessional way to end all of the seat installation montage, but it is 1:37 a.m. and it was misting the entire time that I was installing that seat. I am not soaked, but I am weirdly just consistently damp and tired. So, yeah. There is still one more thing to install in the truck, but I think I'm gonna leave that up to your imagination until we get to the final reveal, you know? Now, you know, I see all these maker YouTubers, like at the very end of their video, they always say, oh, now it's time for the Glamour Shots. That is so corny. Anyway, it's time for the Glamour Shots.
I got to go now. Somebody man just stepped on my heart. I got to go now. Somebody man just stepped on my heart. I got to go now. Somebody man just stepped on my heart. I got to go now.
Yeah, the backdrop isn't like too crazy pretty, given the dumpster. This is supposed to be like a nice place. It's hard to find really lush, cool places out here. It's really dry right now, so I found a weird place to film, and there's a nice, pretty dumpster. I appreciate you watching through this far. Of course, this truck isn't really finished because I'm going to be doing a lot of stuff to the outside. I drew up a little sketch of it, which you can see probably right about here. That's what I plan to do with the paint job and everything, and I also have to replace the grill, the rims, the back bumper, a lot of the trim, pretty much everything on the outside. That might be a future video. And of course, I'm not going to be painting myself. I'm going to be, you know, pushing that off to a professional, at least for the blue and the white portions. The rest of it I'm going to do with vinyl. Of course, this truck has a lot of problems still. The AC doesn't work, so I've got to roll down my windows. So there's a couple things I just have to fix first. As you can see, we've got a nice new pretty steering wheel. That's what the surprise was. It works pretty well for its purpose. It's a little small, but it works. This project took a very, very long time, and I am very glad that the interior's over and I can drive my truck again and actually go places. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more stuff similar to it, be sure to subscribe. I would very much appreciate it. Of course, my channel isn't just car stuff. I'm not much of a car guy, but you'll probably be seeing a little bit more of this too. Again, I do want to thank you all for watching a video this long. It's one of my first videos, so it's not as polished as I want it to be, but in the future I hope to get a little bit better. And this has been good practice. So I do hope to see y'all in another video, but until next time, bye.